So we've heard a lot lately about tensions rising between North Korea and the U.S. And while the Korean War ended in 1953, for North Korea it's still fresh in their minds. And the new book, King of Spies, is a thrilling narrative that can help you understand the relationship between North Korea and the U.S. And the story, it centers around Donald Nichols, who provided the U.S. with most of its bomb targets in the Korean War. And Blaine Harden joins me now, the author of this book and journalist. And tell me, Blaine, just kind of why is North Korea still upset over the war when this happened more than 50 years ago?
Well, for two reasons. North Korea's only fought one war, and it was against the U.S. And the second reason is that North Korea is a totalitarian state, and the Kim family makes it their business to constantly remind their people about what the Americans did during that war. And what they did was they bombed North Korea almost every day for 3 years and destroyed all of its cities.
So then that is how Kim Jong-un just reminds people that this is happening. So that's why
it gives, in this regime, life is not good in North Korea. It's, you know, it's cold, it's dark, it's poor. And what he says is that the price of vigilance against the United States is that is poverty. And isolation and repression, but I'm protecting you from those Americans. And you all remember what they did, which was they bombed and killed your grandma.
Well then, talking about the book here, so Donald Nichols, so you were saying he's an unlikely spy. Why is that?
Well, he's an unlikely spy because he had a 7th grade education and he was a sergeant when he became the most important intelligence operative for the Air Force before, during, and after the Korean War. He went ridiculously early for the war. He arrived 4 years early. He learned Korean. He developed contacts in North and South. And when the war broke out, he was uniquely positioned to provide the Air Force and the U.S. Army with intelligence information about the regime in the North, and he helped break North Korean battle codes that helped the Americans not lose that war. And Donald Nichols' name, he did all this in complete secrecy. His name
we don't hear about him. Yeah.
His name never appeared in the New York Times or the Washington Post until this book came out.
Okay, and so you were saying the end to his story is kind of a sad one. He helped out the U.S., but then what happened?
Well, he was a hero in the war, but he was also on the dark side. Syngman Rhee, who's the American puppet in South Korea, he killed his political enemies. He killed tens of thousands of his political enemies, and Nichols was involved in that. And after 11 years in power, the U.S. Air Force decided to remove Donald Nichols. They put him in a straitjacket and took him to the psych ward of Eglin Air Force Base in the Florida Panhandle and gave him months of electroshock therapy, basically destroyed his credibility. He said they were trying to destroy his memory, and he was thrown out of the Air Force and became a non-person.
Well, very interesting, lots of topics there, and I know you're going to be talking more about the relationship between North Korea and the U.S. tonight. He's going to be speaking at the main library, so you won't want to miss Blaine Harden. It's going to be at that main library at 301 York Street. It's at 7 tonight. The event is free, but of course you're going to need a ticket, so go online at lfpl.org or call 574-1611 to reserve your spot.